Welcome back to another episode of Life in the Fast Lane. I am your host, Nick Carlson, your CEO, and I am with my world-famous, one-of-a-kind, one-off, Senior Kyle Parks, my CTO.
I'm not a chief technical officer, by the way. It's chief talking officer, just so we get it all right.
Yeah, don't be confusing that one now.
It was funny. I sent the email to Chaz over at Ballard, and I put CTO behind my name, and I was like, I probably ought to put like parentheses around that says chief talking officer, because I can't do the. I mean, I can do the tech. I can figure it out because that's all it takes is just figuring it out. But
Interesting.
At least I'm not as bad as you are.
Why? What do you mean?
When it comes to computers,
dude, I am as dumb as they come. I don't even know how to plug the damn thing in. Like, you know what it is? It's funny. So, truth be told,
it's funny. Your old man's better than you are with a computer.
What it is I don't enjoy it. Yeah. I don't enjoy anything about a computer. I can fully understand how they work. As a kid, I actually used to build them. Like, I used to put the motherboard in and put all the other stuff in and clip it in and build the tower. And I used to do all that.
Click, clack, clickety, clack.
Yeah, it's dumb. It's dumb easy. And I understand all the lingo and I totally get it, but it just doesn't resonate with me at all. Like, okay, this is a great example. Tesla. Tesla makes a great car. Yeah. It's a really nice car. It has no soul. A computer to me has no soul.
That's the funny thing is like I was telling Chloe because Lyle and Zoe got a Tesla. Fun car. And oh my God, dude. He always has the fart horn and he always uses the microphone when he gets to our house. He's like, Kyle Parks, come out with your hands up. I'm like, I hate you. Anyway, it drives extremely fast, but you don't feel the shift of the gears of the engine wanting to roar. Because, that's the one reason I love my truck. Absolutely love my truck. I have a 2500 Cummins, my favorite freaking truck out there. But it speaks to me when you press on the gas.
It has a soul.
Exactly. Yes. Like it allows you to feel the gears. You shift. You're not just one solid. Although I would be interested to try out a Koenigsegg because isn't it?
It's a hybrid.
Well, but doesn't it have like a weird transmission or like a one-off transmission?
Yeah, the new one does. What is it?
It's like is it a one-speed or?
No, it's got like 3 different clutches and 3 different lineups of gears, and you have an infinite amount of gearing through like 9 different gears, and it's like the transmission wraps around the engine, and then it's a hot V, so like the exhaust comes out where the manifold typically is, and there's turbos up there.
I'd have to see that. That's weird.
It's the man's a genius. And you know how he got there? He just tinkered. Mm-hmm. He literally just tinkered.
And he had how many failures before he made the final thing?
Oh, I bet you a lot. Dude, his whole factory burned down at one point.
Oh, my gosh.
So, like.
You guys have that in common?
Yeah.
Well, maybe not the whole thing. But.
I was fast enough to put it out. He wasn't. Suck it, Koenigsegg. I don't ever want to experience what I went through ever again. I couldn't imagine him going through that. Like, that's another level of stress that I don't want to hear people complain. My Starbucks coffee wasn't all the way warmed up to the proper temperature. Boo freakity hoo.
Drink it.
Yeah, just drink your Starbucks. No, what you should do is you should drink some freaking water like I do. Anyway.
I drink too much, dude.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
Too much caffeine.
Too much water.
Too much water? Oh, well, you like
I have one caffeine in the morning. So I have my Celsius in the morning, and then after that, all I drink is water. Except for, like, end of the day, I might have, like, a soda.
You can flush yourself out too much.
Yeah.
You can.
But I notice myself doing it all the time. I'll be sitting in the booth. I'm like, dude, I am peeing way too much today. Yeah. So I have to, like, stop myself, and I slow down, and I yeah, but I can drink a whole bottle in a split second.
The bathrooms around here get a workout. I can sit at my desk, and I can hear, because, like, all the bathrooms are actually very close, but they're divided by, like, massive amounts of walls. Like, to get to the bathrooms in our facility, there's 2 in one side of the office area. There's 1 out in the shop facility, in the warehouse area, and there's 1 by me. But if you looked at them from like bird's eye view and you could look through the ceiling, they're all connected. Yeah, they're all right in that one little spot, and so I can hear all the doors slamming. It's non-freaking stop.
It is. It's
bang,
bad.
Bang, bang, bang. I'm like, Jesus.
It's what I can hear on this side. Sometimes you can hear because the one door in the shop, it slams.
Yeah,
but. Yeah, you can hear it on this side too.
It's for me. It's like, guys, like, there's no way a human being can pee that much.
Yeah. Crazy. Dude, I got something to ask you though before we get started.
What?
So I promised Lyle and Zoe I would ask this.
Oh Lord.
Okay, have you ever like dropped something out of your hand and you're like trying to tap it and snag it, or like something falls and you somehow grab it? Mm-hmm. Have you ever like done the Spider-Man thing?
Never.
You never try to like shoot webs?
No, I'm not weird.
Oh,
You fucking
Fuck you.
psychos. What's wrong with y'all?
Well, we actually enjoy our life and watch Marvel because it's the best freaking thing to watch in the universe.
No, yesterday I dropped something. It's funny you say this. This is the first time it's ever happened to me. So my father threw a set of keys at me, and I'm a really good catch. Like I can catch. I'll catch with like my feet. Like I'll stop it from hitting the ground with my feet. I don't know. I've never seen anybody else do it. I'm sure people do it, but like I'm very much protective of things hitting the ground.
Yeah.
And whatever for whatever reason. But yesterday he threw a set of keys at me, and I'm like, die! I can't see it. The sun's in my eyes. I'm trying to catch it, and I can't see it. And then my right hand's full, and I ended up catching the keys with the back of my left hand. I couldn't get my hand flipped this way. It's hard for me to put my palm up in my left hand because I broke this wrist, so it doesn't twist as good as this one. It doesn't bend as far, and I knew it, and so I ended up catching the keys, and they landed on the back of my palm.
That's interesting.
And then I threw it up in the air and snagged it and walked off. So you can have your fucking little fake ass fucking Spider-Man shit. I actually caught a keys with the back of my hand.
You got some weird like magnetic abilities then or something.
It was weird. I was walking while doing this. Like, you know where the rocks are between my house and my shop? I'm walking across those rocks and I'm doing this and I'm trying to catch it and I'm like,
and not drop everything in the right hand.
And it's a fob. It's not like a key. It's just the fob for the red truck.
Yeah.
And it just went boop and popped on my hand. I'm like, son of a bitch, that was freaking awesome. Why couldn't I have that on film?
I'm a god.
Yeah, I don't know. It was funny. But anyway, there's you came at me with a weird one and I gave you another one back.
I promised them I would ask. So I was like, just for that.
Who asked, Lyle?
Yeah, well, no, I was doing something this morning and I asked him, I was like, do you guys ever like, I think we were talking about like Marvel Universe or something like that, but we ended up going down the route. And I'm like, have you guys ever dropped something or like had something fall and you catch it, but you catch yourself like doing the Spider-Man, like quick, just double checking don't have superpowers? And yeah, it just came out and we were talking about that. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to ask Nick today on the podcast.
That's funny. Well, you guys are psycho.
Me maybe, but you know, Lyle's a breed, dude.
He is a one-of-a-kind fella.
We're supposed to be having dinner with them tonight, so that'll be fun.
How old is he? Your age?
I think he's 2 years.
Because I didn't know Lyle
Older.
until, I don't know who introduced us, but Lyle, so everybody that's listening, Lyle is a young man, got his own landscape company.
He's literally me just amplified a smidge.
Is he?
Yeah, dude.
I don't know anything about him in that level.
Okay, so like if you took our personalities and put us together, he's just an amplified version of me.
So he's psycho.
Yes. And then Zoe is a slightly amplified version of Chloe. It's so funny. Lyle and Zoe, Kyle and Chloe were 2 years apart, and we had kids within the same month.
That's wild.
Yeah,
hey, I mean, that's your family.
Yeah, it is. It's hilarious.
It's great. No, I like them. They're not, I don't know much about Lyle's wife. I think I've met her like once, maybe.
She's a nurse. So she's and I'm not saying she's like
Kind-hearted?
reserved. Yeah, she's, oh my God, she's an awesome person.
Yeah, Mary Nurse. They're typically got their act together.
Yeah, she's. There's so much down that rabbit hole.
Let's not go there. I know. Kyle. Lyle likes to get naked.
That's the exact route I was going down.
He's always naked.
The joke that we're going to play on Chloe tonight, because this is going to air way after, the joke we're going to play on Chloe tonight is we're going to walk in their house and they're all going to be in their underwear and I'm going to just start dropping my drawers just to see what Chloe does.
Gosh. Oh, my gosh. You guys. All right, let's get this freaking podcast back on the rails. So what are we talking about today?
Stress, dude.
Stress?
I'm stressed out.
Well, we're not acting like we're stressed right
out.
now.
No.
I'm stressed out.
Me too.
I'm
only
very
in a different, only in the manner of I want a house. But
that's a desired, self-inflicted stress.
Yeah. So, stress. Okay, I saw this podcast, or I don't know if it was a podcast, but I was going through something, and they said these words, and I as soon as I heard it, I was like, I'm texting Nick. This would be a great episode. So, harnessing stress and using it for your progress. Mm-hmm. I thought it was kind of interesting, and it goes back down this Alex Hormozy thing, and I'll probably bring him up a lot because I'm not going to say I relate with him, but I really like the way that his mind works. And he's also from this area, which is kind of cool.
The funny thing is, all I know is his face, and I don't know anything about him.
Yeah.
Nothing.
So what's funny, because you say that, but you listened to a podcast or a speech of his on the way back from Equip.
Did I?
Mm-hmm. Your wife sent it to you. I can tell you the exact one. It was a keynote that he was doing about a like a sales pyramid or something like that, but not really a pyramid, but just more or less like how to run sales as a funnel
Mm-hmm.
so that you start bringing them into the company. And it was like, you and I were talking about how to take Dawson from where it is now to 1 billion.
Mm-hmm.
And I can remember the conversation and how it all went. And I can remember we were in that last incline coming into Maryland where it's really steep
Mm-hmm.
on 70. So I know the whole scenario of everything. But yeah, you were listening to him as we were coming back into Maryland.
Interesting. Oh, there you go. Well, I don't. I know
This
exactly.
is how my brain works.
Yeah, I don't have that kind of memory. There's no way.
But no, I thought it was interesting because he was saying, like, you need to harness stress and be able to use it to your advantage. And it goes back to the podcast we were talking about last was, oh, shit, I just had a brain fart.
Here it is.
God dang. Oh, expectations.
Yes.
Having expectations for yourself and all that. But when Sam was stacking the hitches, it stressed me out. So the first thing that I tackled next, because I was switching over to gloss black, was to get those hitches knocked out first because they were bothering me. And then it reduced my stress level. I also became productive because of that and used it to my advantage. So harnessing that stress and putting it to use, it's like right now, I have a couple of leaf jobs. I don't have the time of day after work to go out and do it. Mm-hmm. So I either have to wake up butt-ass early in the morning, get in here because my commitment to Dawson is 40 hours a week. I'll do more. I have no problem doing more.
Right.
But my commitment is 40 hours a week. So if I can come in a smidge early with your guys' permission, mm-hmm. I will leave at 3 o'clock, go out, do a leaf job, come home and have time with my family because I don't want to be home late.
We can make that happen.
Yeah.
Go talk to Sam.
No, Sam doesn't like me.
Well,
I'm just kidding.
You just talk
Sam
to me.
loves me.
Yeah,
but no, I'll come in early. He said as long as I have powder, I'm fine to come in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he has no problem with it.
Yeah, we don't want you just dicking around doing nothing.
Oh, well, I get a lot more done without people here.
I'm sure you do. We just got to make sure. Oh, here comes the honk.
Uh-oh.
Our friend is back.
Well, actually, I've noticed when he backs in, I don't think he honks.
Or maybe it's just because the sound goes the other direction.
Yeah, it could be.
Maybe.
Oh, he's in a different parking spot this time, too.
There we go.
Weird.
Anyway, let's get back onto the podcast. So, man, we are way out in left field right now. Reel it back in, baby.
Kaylee said she loves it when we do this, when we just like go down these tangents and then you go, reel it back in.
Reel it back in.
She loves that.
Kaylee said that?
Yeah.
That's funny. Well, there you go. Nikki just said it.
Nick does it so much. And I'm like, yeah, well, it makes for a better podcast when we go off tangents. But anyway, back to your regular scheduled program of stress. What are some ways you use stress to your advantage? And I know you go down this rabbit hole of making your lists, and I honestly think it reduces stress in a manner because it makes it so that it's more physical, mm-hmm. and then you can go down and check things off, and then as you make those check marks, it allows your body to relieve itself from this weight that feels like it's on your shoulders. Mm-hmm. I like to do it as things happen, but you also say you like to do it at the end of the day. You check off this massive mm-hmm. chunk, and then it feels like you took a bite out of the day.
Mm-hmm. I'll give you a great for instance. So last night, I was doing a teletherapy session with my therapist, and there's nothing wrong with me. I'm just keeping myself in check, and it's a good place for me to it's a good sounding board where this person, my therapist, Dr. Megan, she can, and I have a female therapist because I want to make sure I have, I feel like I have the guy side of things, pretty well understood. So I like to have that female perspective.
You also soundboard a lot with your dad, which I feel like that can help you.
Sure. So I think having a female therapist for me is smart. So it just kind of shows you where I'm at. And I'm always trying to get better, and I'm always trying to. Dude, I don't need a therapist. I really don't. And I feel silly doing it all the time, but I feel like every time I do it, I kind of dig up and re-fluff up the things that I have wrong in me, and it allows me to get back to work and not get complacent. That's the word.
Is it what's wrong, or is it what your fear is what you're trying to, I'm not going to say suppress, but trying to make better of yourself?
Well, if I'm trying to make it better, it's wrong. In my opinion, I mean, yeah. if it can be better than what currently is wrong to me.
I find that's kind of interesting that you see it that way, because I don't see it as wrong, but I don't know. I feel like there should be a different word for that.
Possibly, it's probably very harsh.
Yeah.
I'm probably being very, very harsh.
And that could be it. Because it kind of goes back to that one podcast where we were saying the idle mind is the devil's playground, but I also said boredom allows your thoughts to grow.
Right.
So allow yourself to be.
I say a clear mind allows yourself to grow.
Yeah. So it just kind of goes down to like, I think we see the same things. We're just not wording it in the way that we can see them the same way. I don't know.
Maybe not. I don't know. Everybody digests words and food and everything differently.
Yeah.
So, like, I know for a fact that I am not everybody's, favorite person to listen to. Like, some people like me, some people like Brian, some people like Andy, some people like I'm not for everybody. I know that.
Not everybody likes the same cup of tea.
They don't. Yeah, absolutely not. Some people like Earl Grey and some people like green.
Yeah.
Y'all
like your girl drink drunks and I like my scotch.
There you go. and I like little Captain in me.
Yo ho ho and a bottle of rum.
Yeah. So where were we? We just went down like a whole thing there.
So when you have your therapy, you dig up feelings that feel wrong.
Yeah. So
or things that are
no,
wrong
there was even something.
Yourself.
There was even something before that, but I was doing that, and then it led me to a thought. We were talking before that. Oh my goodness, I am digging like a mofo here, trying to pull that back up. We just got so sidetracked. That's why I like going sidetracked. I like to stay on topic.
Well, that one I kind of like though because it's not necessarily that we disagree. It's just that the wording is different between us, and like to me, I don't say that it's wrong. I just say it's something that needs to be improved upon because you're never going to be perfect, but you can't look at yourself and just diminish yourself to a point where you feel like you're a piece of dirt.
Yeah, no one should feel like a piece of dirt, but I think that
and I think that's where I'm coming from is that if you tell yourself that this part of you is wrong, then you're taking yourself so far down that you can't dig yourself up.
True. I guess the therapy thing I was just saying is that, after I got done, digging everything up and trying to, figure out where I can improve, what if you can find. Okay, so this whole podcast is about stress, right?
Yeah.
Right. So stress is just a signal.
Yeah.
It's like a light, right? When a light goes off, when the check engine light goes off in your car, that's what stress is.
Yeah, and that it's also anxiety is a form of stress, but it's a more inherent form of stress because you feel it.
Sure. And use a car. Like anybody listening to this, I guarantee is driving a car.
Yeah.
Right. So when you drive a car and you have a check engine light come on, that is stress. That's anxiety. That's worry. That's.
Yeah, you feel that. Where's the blood? I can't remember. You don't get lightheaded, but you get this weird feeling of like coldness. You're like, oh shit, this has to be handled, or like, how am I going to afford this, or
sure.
When am I going to get this done?
Those are just signals your body and your mind are telling you to like, hey, you need to pay attention.
Your heart drops. That's what it is.
Yeah, your heart drops. Your gut. You ever have butterflies?
Mm-hmm.
You ever have butterflies?
Oh yeah,
really? Yeah,
very often.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't butterflies in years.
And it's not that. It's not like it's not the love butterfly. It's the like. You just get this upset stomach and you just kind of like start feeling like, okay, I can do this a different way, or I should have done this way. Why didn't I? And then you start going, well, damn. Well, now there's going to be this problem, or this happens, or this happens. That's why every time I've been putting the racks in, every time I put the rack in, I always check them. Mm-hmm. I check every part as much as I could. I mean, granted, sometimes it's hard to check when there's 100 parts on the rack. Every single part, but you have to do a quick gloss over and be like, okay, I know what I'm looking for, and I'm looking for gray. If I see gray, I need to make sure I spray it. Right. And sometimes 1 or 2 parts may come out light, which is fine when you have 100 parts in versus, 5 parts per row. That becomes quite obnoxious.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
So it's just the stress to me goes, okay, I want to make sure that rack, I can for sure, I have double checked it. It has gone in the oven. I can feel good about myself. Versus if I just take it, throw it in the oven, you second guess yourself. And the second guess is where I tend to get the butterflies.
Right. So you have to pay attention. Okay. Yeah, I get it. So like this is my experience. I don't get butterflies anymore with anything. The last time I got butterflies, and rightfully so, I believe, is the last time I was at the racetrack. because it can kill me.
Yeah.
I do not get butterflies. Like I used to get butterflies like going and doing demos for Mulchmate or doing a trade show. I used to go to these trade shows. It's been years, but I used to get a little bit of butterflies, a little bit of nervousness. And it was because I was like, I don't know what to say. Or like I would do a podcast 5 years ago and man, I'd be sweaty hands and not know what to say and, oh, don't stutter and this and that.
It's weird. I felt the same way when we started this for like the first 2 or 3.
Yeah, you could tell.
And it's weird because it's not that I was nervous. It's just I was, like I said, I was trying to find where I needed to fit in. And then once I found it, I could start firing off. And it's not that I have massive credentials. I have my own credentials for who I am, the age I am, the experience I've gone through, but I also have the experience of I fucked up, and I know where I fucked up, and I can give points of where I fucked up and help people get better,
sure,
so that they don't repeat it.
Sure,
but then it also comes down to action on their part.
Right. I think here's where I come from, and going back to what I was just saying about going to a trade show and nervousness and all, I don't get it anymore. It is because I finally sat down with myself one day and I said, "You're going to speak from the heart." Mm-hmm. You're not going to try to be something you're not. I told my therapist last night, I said, sometimes I have imposter syndrome where I'm like, am I fooling all these people? Am I, is this all fake? I'm doing this podcast and I give advice and I do this coaching thing and all this. And she goes, Nick, stop. Time out. You made almost $30 million since you started Dawson Manufacturing. She goes, I don't know anybody that's ever made $30 million in a lifetime.
Yeah.
And you did it in 5 years or whatever it was. She goes, you've sold a business. You've had crazy amount of success. You've got supercars. You've got money stacked up in the bank. You've got this, you've got that. You've broken a jaw. You've recovered from this and that. I was getting ready to say something very personal. I'm not going to ever mention that here. But, you've overcome so much. She goes, Nick, your credentials are through the roof. Most people couldn't handle 1% of what you've gone through. And she goes, you need to be a little bit nicer to yourself. And I was like, you're correct. I'm sorry. You're totally correct. And the stress that I carry today isn't the stress of worry, but more the stress of things that I can't control.
Yeah.
Irritate the hell out of me. The things that I can control, I'm not stressed out over it because I just know that I'm doing the best I can with them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and that kind of relates back to one of the things you sent me on Instagram. It was about Musk's ex-wife, and she said, in order to be successful, you have to deal with stress that would, under a normal person, crumble them.
Yes.
So stress can come in the form of thoughts. Stress can come in the form of things that you have to accomplish. Stress can come into, your money situation. Stress can come in any sort of manner. You just have to learn how to deal with it.
Sure.
And it's not going to take the first time that you get it right. It's not going to take probably the third time. It may take 10, 15 times for you to figure out what that perfect way to get over that stress is. But you just have to try. There was an analogy. I think it was it was a cat and a mouse thing. And they're saying, Alex Ramosi explained this in a thing I was watching last night. Mm-hmm. And it was, you could place a block of cheese in a maze. And if you're the mouse and there's a cat behind you, mm-hmm. no matter what direction you run, you're getting far enough away from the mouse. Say the mouse is death, right? You're trying to keep away from it, right? There's cheese out there, so in any way that you go, you're going to be closer to the cheese than you are from the cat. So just keep running, and that was kind of the way that he was explaining it. Is I have to see if I can find the podcast and bring it back up, but I probably botched the crap out of that. But it was keep chasing towards the cheese because that will keep you away from the cat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It will. Yeah, it absolutely will.
Okay, the cat's failure, sorry, not death. But that keeps you moving.
Well, death is failure, right? So you never fail until you quit.
Yeah.
And you when you're alive, you do have the ability to never fail.
Yeah, and that's the one thing too, is like people always say with business, If you're not growing, you're dying.
Oh, 100%. Well, that's life in general.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If you're not allowing yourself to get bigger or better or stronger, it's not that you're being egotistical or you're being, selfish. You're just trying to better yourself and everything around you.
Well, I think what you just named off is like the most common things people talk about. But, if here's something I'm working on, and I'll be totally transparent. I learned this just like 2 weeks ago. I figured it out all on my own. As a child, I had to grow up really, really fast.
Yeah.
So I lost my childhood. And so I didn't have the ability.
You had to be the adult for yourself.
I did. And like I remember coming home from school and had to cook for myself and clean the house. And I did all that. And my mother was just a POS. And it's a shame that she had to be that way. But I didn't make that bed. That wasn't mine. Ultimately, I ended up having to make that bed for myself. I didn't have a mother to really mother me. It was just like grow up fast. And what I had learned, this is where I'm getting vulnerable, is I had learned 2 weeks ago, all on my own. I said, holy crap, I am trying to force my kids to grow up as fast as I did because that's what I know.
Yeah.
And that's a problem. I had learned to stop doing this a couple of years ago, but I finally was able to put it into words and figure out, well, why? Why was I acting like when it was just me and my daughter, my son wasn't born yet. She was only like 3 when he was born, 3.5, I think, something like that. And I remember I had this vision. So I wanted to move to Utah about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I was going to move there, move my family there, better schools, better air, better water, better food, better everything.
Yeah.
And I was going to move them out there, and then I was going to fly back here on Monday mornings and then fly back to Utah Thursday nights. I was going to work here 4 days a week, and then I was going to live there 3 days a week.
Yeah.
And that was just going to be my life for a while until I could either move the company there or I didn't have to come here all the time, which was what I was hoping. And through all that, my daughter, I was like, I can't wait for her to be like 15, and her and I can go to this specific coffee shop in Park City.
Yeah.
And sit there and drink coffee and have a Danish and talk and be kind to one another and just love on each other, in a proper adult daughter-father way.
Yeah.
And I remember I had this vision, and I'll never forget this vision that I've carried with me forever since she was born. Even before she was born, I had this vision in my head once I knew I was having a daughter. It came to me for whatever reason. And I learned a couple of years ago, I was like, dude, you're trying to rush your kids into being grown up, and you're going to miss out on them being young. So like if you want me to get emotional, let me start talking about them. Mm-hmm. I will start crying right now. Right now I'm not feeling emotion, thank God. But like last night I was talking to my therapist about it, and I was getting very emotional. And it's just because I love my kids. But, what I'd learned was I was trying to push them as fast as I got pushed. And that's wrong. I need to not do that. Yeah. I need to allow them to live their childhood in peace and love and, make sure that there's no animosity near them. There's no tension around them. That when they come home from school, they want to come home because there's a snack waiting for them and there's love and there's care. And what I find a lot of kids end up doing is they end up falling into the wrong crowd. And the reason they fall into the wrong crowd is because the parents haven't made the home child enough friendly for them to feel welcome.
Yeah. Right?
Because the parents are creating this environment that's good for adults, not good for the kids.
Yeah.
And that takes a lot of selflessness to see that. Too many people are very, very selfish, and they create an environment. I'll give you another great example. My aunt woke me up to this. And I'm sitting here just bashing myself, honestly. But the day that I got married to my wife, Julia, this was in 2014, my aunt, Linda, love her. She's like one of the best humans on the planet. She's like, let me see your bedroom. I'm like, that's a weird question. And she goes up there and she starts opening drawers. And I have nothing to hide. She can look anywhere. She's going to find clothes, guns, cowboy boots. There's nothing in there to hide. I have nothing. I don't even have a TV in my bedroom. Like I don't eat in my bedroom. I don't watch TV in my bedroom. I go to my bedroom, I get dressed, and I go to sleep. That's what I do.
Yeah.
And at the time, my bedroom was full of all my stuff. And she opens the closet and she opens every drawer to my dresser, and she starts throwing clothes on my bed. And I'm like, what in the hell are you doing? She goes, you have not created a space for your wife to move into. And I was like, because we weren't living together at the time.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit. That experience is what has woken me up to my experience with my kids. And, I used to be the kind of person where it's like, I don't want any toys in the house. I want my house to look like nobody lives there. I don't like things around.
Yeah.
Can't stand it. I'd rather the fireplace mantle be empty. I'd rather the counters in the kitchen have nothing on them. Like, I don't want anything around. I don't like it. I don't like stuff. It just drives me nuts. What you'll notice is that in my world, if there's a lot of stuff in my world, like in my office, there's a lot of shit right now in my room. And matter of fact, when we get done this podcast, it's the next thing I'm going to do is clean that. You'll notice that where I get cluttery is where I make the most amount of money. Because I got so much going on, and I know how to juggle that. But when it comes to my personal life, I want nothing. Like, go in my personal garage, there's nothing.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm actually looking at getting a Snap-on toolbox for in there because I want any of the tools I do have out, I'm going to stick them in that box, and it's going to be a white garage with a white toolbox and white cars.
That's the one thing I'm excited about when we get our house. Is it doesn't have to be a garage. It can be a shed. It can be whatever. But just something to put organization to my tools and my clutter that I'm not going to call it clutter, but just my stuff when it comes to tools and power tools and oils and just my stuff. Make it nice and clean. I like having organization. I like having that stuff organized, especially like the powder coating table.
Mm-hmm.
I like having that clean and organized. I can have a bunch of stuff on it, like the metals that have to go into the rack, but I like it organized because it gives me a system.
Right.
You know, and that allows me to manage the stress, knowing that I have a crap ton of stuff to get into the oven, but I have it organized, and therefore I'm managing my stress so that it works to my advantage.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, everybody could look at, oh, well, I have 10 pallets of stuff I have to get into the oven.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah,
but I go, dude, I have 4 done.
Yeah.
That means I only have 6 left to go.
Yeah.
I'm counting up.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. I have 7 done.
Yeah.
And I only have 3 left.
Yeah, I tell you what, go out in the powder area right now, your finished powder parts, they're fucking, I can't find a problem.
Yeah.
The quality's there. The post quality, meaning where they're stacked, how they're laid out, like, I can only critique you maybe 1% more. Like, literally, every pallet's organized, everything's laid out properly. The only thing is the Snowmate, where it says Snowmate on that plate.
Yeah.
That's the only, there's like one
I
sitting
had to move
sideways.
it because it wouldn't stack the way I wanted it
That's
to.
it. Like, that's all I can pick apart. And that, man, if everybody could fucking do that, oh my God, dude. Everybody would be on a new level.
Well, that was the thing is like when I was going through my reinvention of myself, which there's actually the book that I would recommend. I can't remember the name of it. If I can remember it, I'll mention it. But the reinvention of myself was that.
Right.
Versus when I was just stacking it on there, I was just trying to make it do the best that I could versus optimizing pallets and making sure that I have everything in the way that they could be, the best way that they can so that things aren't sliding. Like the winglet support bars,
right,
or the support brackets. Those if they came flipped in the other direction, so if the bend was upward, whenever you stack them, they slide off the pallet. Versus stacking them like the way they are now, they kind of like tongue and groove into each other and they stick.
Yeah.
So that if I stack them on the pallet that way, they're not wanting to slide everywhere. Now, granted, I still will wrap it once we move all those pallets up onto a shelf. But that there is the explanation of the reinvention of myself.
Mm-hmm.
That makes me happy. Getting these podcasts done during lunch makes me happy because that's me putting myself to work still. I'm not just sitting around dicking off for an hour.
Yeah.
I'm getting something done.
Yep.
And I can move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
You know, making sure the whiteboard is organized and ready for me when I come in, and I know how many parts of VR2s have to go through the oven. I know how many parts of the standard Hitchmates have to go through the oven. I know there's roughly 100 parts per run of Snowmates that have to go through for everything. So I try to make sure I have the numbers, the amounts of parts that I have that are going through, and how much I can get into onto a rack. Like I can get, for a Snowmate, I can get at least 800 parts onto a rack.
That's a lot.
No, not 800. Maybe, sorry, 250. There's 800 for the pack. I forgot.
Yeah.
I had the math wrong, but I can get about 250.
It's a shitload.
Yeah.
It's a lot. I mean, it depends on, of course, the part, but like, so I'm with you. So it's funny. It's so funny you bring this up. So we sat down here to
Oh, that's the other thing too.
What's that?
If I stack the rack where there's miscellaneous parts, like back and forward, and I just like kind of hodgepodge throw it up because it's sitting in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
That drives me nuts.
Yeah, I bet.
I
That drives me nuts.
I can't do that. I have to make it so it's uniform. It's one part, and then I move on to another part, and then once if that rack is finished and I can go to another part or another rack, I will do that, and then I'll finish it, but I have to go in order.
Yeah, I'm totally with you. And the not wasting time thing drives me nuts too. And like, it's funny, when we first started this podcast, there's 4 boxes sitting in front of us. They hold the sound deadening material for the studio that we haven't put up yet, just because we haven't gotten to it yet. We have to schedule that time to get that done. But I was actually literally thinking, I should be working on putting up that while we do the podcast. Because I can talk and put it up at the same time. I think I could. Maybe might have the bandwidth for that.
Unless if it has that when you're pulling the stick off the back, maybe.
Who cares?
Not.
Like, that's part of the cool, like, us doing push-ups on a podcast, which I'm not doing right now. I did a bunch already today.
I got to pee, too, so it might not work.
I haven't eaten yet today. I'm starving. I'm freaking dying. I've been fasting. I've been a good boy.
I don't eat breakfast during the work days.
No? Nah, a lot of people don't do that. I have a theory on that. Like, some people need the fuel, where, like, I'm doing it for, I think.
That or it's part of their routine.
Yes, but, like, when I break my fast, I break it with fruit.
Yeah.
Right? And I do that because I'm trying to be very, very clean. Like, you look at my skin, man. My skin is really actually looking pretty good. I look
Mine's
old.
really dry.
Yeah. You need to eat more fruit or something. Dude, for real. Actually, I'm going to challenge you on something. I want you to stop eating the junk, and I want you to eat more blueberries.
I hate the flavor of blueberries.
I understand. But I'll show you a picture. Look at this. So, talking about stress and controlling all this, your diet will absolutely change your stress levels. And you know what else changes your stress levels? And when you start to get something right and it starts to flow better and you just start winning kind of out of nowhere. This picture I'm about to show you, this seals the deal for me. Look at my skin.
Yeah. That's
blueberries. And so I don't like blueberries. I hate the skin of blueberries, but there's so much good in those blueberries. My skin. So this picture, guys, if you want to follow me on Instagram, I'm Mr. Nick Carlson, Mr. Mr. Nick Carlson on Instagram. But this picture is a side by side of me being 350 pounds and then me being 220 pounds, which is the lowest I ever got.
Yeah. But you did look a little anorexic in the picture.
I did. I didn't look good, that skinny. It was bad. But my skin is more of what I'm talking about here.
Yeah.
My skin is phenomenal. And I know it's the blueberries for sure. I bet you if you made that fruit change, you give it 2, 3, 4 months, your skin would get better.
Yeah.
I bet you. And so you have to ask yourself this question. This is for you, Kyle. Is it more important for you to eat the junk that you eat, or is it more important for you to get your skin feeling better?
At the moment, I'm more important on getting my mind perfect.
But see,
that's first.
The fruit would do that. So if you get your skin right, that's one less thing you have to worry about. Then that helps your mind. And a lot of people don't realize the fact that they're like, well, I'm working on my mind.
I've never had food affect the way that my mind is.
Oh, it will. I promise
that
you.
I've noticed.
Because have you ever done a detox?
I did when my dad went through his like juicing phase and all that
stuff. The cleanse and all that? And what happened?
For me, not much.
Really?
I'm when it comes to my mindset, I'm very I'm me.
It's interesting. I don't even know how that's even possible because chemically it would react. It would change your chemical balance in you. It's weird. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know.
Maybe I'm a shitty ass person on good food.
No, but did you actually truly do a cleanse? Did you truly did you do a complete flush? Did you? Because it takes more than a day. It takes weeks.
I've never done I've never gone like multiple weeks on it.
Oh, you have to.
So the one thing I've considered, and the only reason I haven't fully done it because I want to do it with Chloe. But if we did keto, I wouldn't mind trying that. But the hard part for me is the carbs. I know, dude.
I
enjoy my chips. I enjoy my snacks. I know I'm guilty of it, but that's just that. Those are my. I'm not gonna say crutches. I enjoy them.
Yeah, I get it. But okay, for me, because of my weight, I I stress out more when I put on clothes and they're just too tight, or
I like tight fit clothes. I don't know why.
because you're skinny.
Well, no, I like.
So do I. But when you're 350 pounds, dude,
Yeah.
you do not like tight clothes. You wear dark clothes. You wear baggy clothes. You pull your yoga pants over your gut. Or your jeans or whatever. Like it's a scary thing, and too many people are body positive. No, dude, you are freaking unhealthy, and you're gonna die. And I know behind closed doors, when you're in your bedroom, you're stressing out over these jeans just.
I will say
tight.
though, I feel better knowing that I cooked the meal than I do if I went out.
Oh yeah,
that's one thing I do notice because like you can eat well eating out.
Yeah,
you just have to pick the right things.
Yeah, you can.
But
stuff
like I feel better when I've cooked the meal and like we've saved the money and we've made something that we're happy with. Like I'll take a steak at my house 10 times out of 10 over eating out a steak.
I've had some pretty good steaks in my life, but yeah, I totally understand what you're saying. You and I love bison steak. Bison.
You know what we have this time of year? We always have Wagyu this time of year because my dad always gets it through work. And then we always have lobster.
Ooh, I love lobster.